mighty listeners, and welcome to 2P's in a Deathclaw.
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Good. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Episode 41. We are currently sat in a Premier Inn room. We have our refreshments in hand as we are in Nottingham.
I'm desperately
desperately trying to rehydrate from last night. And we're in Nottingham because there's a flower show on, so we came up. No. So we were really lucky. We've played on Warhammer TV. So this morning, we have on the hobby desk. So we'll be chatting a bit about what we've been up to. We'll go into Galaxy of War and talk about our experience and how I kindly let Ben win on Warhammer TV. Into the Mortal Realms, talking about Khorne. Yeah, that's it. And then the usual community greatness. And finally, which one is it this week? Lord of the Rings. So we take a little journey down Middle-earth Lane.
Middle-earth Lane, is that like that?
Like Memory Lane?
Maybe.
Guys, grab some refreshments and we'll see you on the hobby desk.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 41's Hobby Desk. Not much from Dan.
No.
He's just told me, he's bought a box of Reavers that he's been meaning to assemble for the past 8 months. And
more than that. I bought them about 18 months ago. And I've opened them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've opened them.
Because I can hear them rattling around your bag.
All the bases fell out in my bag. They're just rattling around. So, no, I haven't done a great deal, hobby-wise. Prior to coming up to Nottingham, I've put snow on all the bases of the 40k side of my Khorne army now.
Yeah.
Which I'm really happy with. I've still got to do the blood, but I've done the snow. And also, I went back and I re-varnished.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I tested dull coated, which has really lifted it up. It's changed the look of the army quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's done wonders, because when we were up here, or it might have been even last time, you had your army out and you were quite gutted.
Yeah.
Actually, visibly gutted, because it was all really dull and didn't pop. And all you've done is change the varnish, and it looks completely different now. And that's a 50-50 satin gloss Vallejo, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mix it from Vallejo. I get, it's 1 part matte, Vallejo matte.
All right.
1 part Vallejo gloss. And
this sounds far more complicated than it is to be.
1 part Lamia medium. Not
it?
Lamia medium,
satin?
No. Thinner.
It's going to go well for you this morning, isn't it?
Yeah. 1 part thinner.
I tend to use just satin straight out of the bottle.
Yeah, I don't.
I actually quite like Vallejo matte just on its own.
Yeah,
because it's got the same sort of sheen as a just painted model.
It's interesting. I think recently I've tried using different varnishes for different effects as well. Yeah. So traditionally I've always just used it to protect stuff.
Yeah.
But like when I did that Necromunda bulkhead,
yeah,
I deliberately matted the bulkhead.
Yeah.
But glossed the light.
Yeah.
To get that contrast.
Yeah, that's good. It's the easy way to get things like that, sort of gemstones, and if the whole army is glossy, it doesn't stand out very well. But
no,
it's really useful. Anything else you done this?
No. What about you?
I was just going to say actually that what you did with your basing, I think that was ace, because your Khorne army is a long-term project that you've gone through iterations of already, and it was a good chance for you to go and playing on telly was a good time for you to sort of sit down and redo the bases. I did much the same with my wolves, actually, because half of them were edged in or Steel Legion drab, and half of them were edged in black. And as soon as I did them all in black, it made a massive difference. Massive difference. So
there's a lot to be. So visually on the table, especially because we talked, don't we, about the journey that your army goes on.
Yeah.
And we talked about how I get quite frustrated. I can get quite frustrated because it doesn't, the beginning and the end look different, or the beginning and the continuation look. But if you tie the bases together, it doesn't matter. You can't really tell on the tabletop.
No.
So, which is good. And, I've just got to do the blood now.
Yeah.
And the nice thing then is the demons will tie in as well then, because they've got the blood on them. So, and then I think what I'm going to do is get my snow mat out at home.
Yeah.
And just get it all out. All the Khorne I've got.
Yeah.
Because I've never done that, not with all of it.
No.
It's
nice to see it out once in a while.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Especially when you have a big army. Like, I think I've seen my Space Marine company out on the table twice, all at once. It takes about half an hour to set the damn thing up. So,
you got most of it out that time Mike and I crushed you.
Yeah.
In your own house.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that happened as well. Yeah. But I was thinking more of the Games Workshop where I dropped half the company in, and then the tower just took them out in one go shooting. I was like, cheers for that. Yeah.
So what about you? You obviously you've edged some bases. You were repainting shoulder pads as well.
Yeah. So I had to go back and do the Inceptor shoulder pads because it's been something I've been meaning to do for a while. I hadn't realised that cream and red is the shoulder design for Wolfen. So I didn't really fancy 3 Primaris Inceptors being Wolfen. No. I don't think a Wolfen with a heavy drop pack is it's a brilliant idea, personally.
Not unlike, an artillery shell in many ways.
But no, I had to go back and do them yellow and red. I suppose I've been slowly coming around to the idea that the Space Wolves are accepting, because there's now so much more options. We're going to talk a little bit later about Shadowspear, which I was lucky to get yesterday. There's now so many more options available to the Primaris tactically, so many more units and weapons and war gear, that you can't be so strict with your designations. There isn't just one unit that is the fast attack unit in an army anymore. There's going to be multiple. Mm-hmm. I'm listening to Jess Goodwin talk on Voxcast. There will literally be the possibility that every armour variant that we've seen will have a close combat, a heavy weapon, and a sort of mid-range, and maybe other variants we haven't even thought of. So, where do those fit? And actually, their battlefield role and designating them as a battlefield role makes more sense. But you can almost see with the Space Wolves that the Inceptors is a tough one. It's probably the one that stands out the most. The Reavers are obviously scouts. The Inceptors are not obviously Bloodclaws. They can't be. This takes quite a lot of more self-control than a Bloodclaw has to drop out of a ship from orbit and do something so precision. So they're outside of the box, but maybe they're kind of like the people who were really good, more like the Skyclaws, who are really adept at doing that and just stayed in that role, and hopefully kind of control the Bloodclaws. I can see that narrative developing as those units become more embedded.
Well, and also, so the thing about being a Bloodclaw is there's that bit about you've got to prove yourself, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that fits with the Primaris coming into the Space Wolves really well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I've kind of echoed that in some of the things I've done in the painting of the army. So the Reavers, for example, have red hands because that unit that I've done recognised as soon as they came in that actually their experience level wasn't far off a Bloodclaws, only about a couple of decades. And the Wolf Scouts are they're traditionally elite units. They're really experienced Space Wolves, so they probably felt a little bit out of place. Now, having read the background in Shadowspear, have a much better understanding of what it takes to become a Vanguard. And we're going to talk about that later. There's some awesome stuff in that box. That maybe my mind will have changed, but I still think that concept that they've come into the Ragnar's force and seen themselves almost like the newbies, and almost like a tongue-in-cheek, painted their hands red to show that they're Bloodclaws in a sense, but also that they get their hands dirty all the time. I quite like that. Still like that, so I'll keep that probably. So what else have I done? I've finished painting my squig hoppers.
Yes.
Really, really happy with how that unit turned out.
These are the
original squig hoppers. Multiple colours across those. So no two of the squigs are the same. It provides, I think, a really nice variety. And I'm really happy with how I got the tone across the whole unit. So I'm really chuffed with those, actually.
They look lovely.
Oh, thanks, mate. I'm really excited to transfer. My next unit is the current squig hoppers. So I'm going to be really loving, like, they're getting that transfer across. There's going to be some playing around with making sure they still feel the same.
So how have you tied them in to your iron jaws?
Tonally is probably the best way to describe it. So they look sort of bright, but not bright. Because my iron jaws are white, but they're not white. They don't look bright and ridiculous. They look sort of grubby. So I've made them look grubby-ish.
Presumably the basing as well.
And the basing is the same, yeah. The basing will stay the same across all of them. What I'll have more on the goblins is like mushrooms and stuff, which aren't going to be on the iron jaws. But otherwise, yeah, it was just making sure that they looked right next to them, and because the basing are the same, they will tie in together. Because I want them to look like a Gloomspire Gitz army and Iron Jaws army that can work together. And actually, it will be some of the units, like I said last time, with the armour on, where the tie-in will become more obvious, because they'll be emulating the Iron Jaws with their white and red armour.
Mm.
Don't know if we're going to have like that loon boss with a moon helmet. Yellow, maybe. I don't know. White, probably. I think.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that will be good, actually, and it'd be a good opportunity to tie it together.
Yeah,
really good. So next is the squig hoppers. Yeah, you said?
Yeah. If I can maintain an element of self-control, because that Shadowspear box is so lush.
So it was great to see the miniatures
in person, yeah.
And they are all excellent. The Greater Possessed, I love those Greater Possessed, and the Little
filthy.
They're really good. Yeah. And the Venom Crawler, smaller than I thought, but actually that actually made me think more that I wanted it, because it felt a little bit, because at the moment I've got 2 Helldrakes partly finished.
And about half the size of the Helldrake, if people
at least
haven't seen the comparison.
Yeah, so and I just don't need another big model, especially because I don't want one, obviously.
Yeah, you need a unit.
Need 3 of them. So we'll see, though. It's not, at the moment, my immediate sort of hobby focus is going to be the new releases for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
For Khorne. So I think I'm torn on whether to paint the Judgments.
End of spells.
Yeah, I left the gap because I needed to say it. The Judgments or the piece of terrain first.
A piece of terrain. I love that.
It's great.
I really love
it as well.
It's got the slaughter priest sat on top of it. It's just like, we should talk about that later.
I know, but I just need it. Not only does it look great on the table, it definitely a functional hat, I think.
Yeah.
For a night out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That has to happen now.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm most excited about, so I leave the best to last, is I had the pleasure of going up and having a fundamentals painting lesson with Tommy Saul, which was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I know you really enjoyed it. That's good.
I've already started. I couldn't help myself, really. I'm turning into a hobby butterfly, which is completely unlike me, but I've started messing around with the Primaris Special Edition Sergeant to get practice some of the things that he taught me. I'm really happy with how that's turning out so far. So it's a bit unfair, isn't it? Because I really want to tell everyone all the awesome stuff I was taught, but it's a lesson, and it's for people to go and enjoy those things. And actually, it's not about guarding those secrets, because it's just that when you go and learn them from someone like Tommy, there's a huge impact. It's like a light bulb moment, but it was about going right back to the fundamentals and learning everything from how to manage your paint on your palette to how to set up your brush and how to apply paint to a model. And it's completely changed how I do things now. I'm a lot slower applying them. I suppose it's about like relearning how to do something. You'll get I'll get faster as I go. But I'm really excited about I feel like I've leveled up a little bit. Like I've opened a door, and now it's up to me to make use of that information. So, guys, if you're really into painting, sometimes it can feel like, what could somebody really teach me if I sat down? Surely it's just all about practice. Nah, really, honestly, a fundamentals course with someone like Tommy is just absolute gold dust.
Yeah,
absolute gold dust.
Yeah, and it's Golem painting.
He's Golem Painting Studios.
Golem Painting Studios. Yeah. So I just going back to your point about wanting to tell people and stuff. I think you cannot understate the impact of going and being shown something, and it's true in life generally with stuff like that. But when I did the MKA course, when that was still a thing, Matt was very vocal about not sharing what you learn. But actually, in a way, that almost undersold the impact of who you were learning it from. Because I can tell you, and all of the techniques and what we were shown, but I'm never going to be able to do it in as good a way as Matt or as Henry Steele now in Cold Paint will. And you cannot beat. I was working on my Iron Warriors Rhino, and when I was like, I'm not sure about that, Henry Steele, who's won gold or painting competitions for painting metals on tanks, is there. And I'm like, dude, what do you think? You can't beat that. So, and I did anyway, and I expect others might. Sometimes it seems like quite an outlay.
Yes.
It's often you see sort of £100 plus, for a paint lesson, and it seems like a lot, but
it's worth it.
It's so worth it. And also, I've done one, and I would do some more maybe in the future. And that knowledge will stay with me forever now. So when you break that down into an hourly rate over forever, it's not a lot at all, is it?
No, it's not.
But it depends what you want to get out of your hobby, And you've got to pick the right courses.
Yeah, I mean, something like the fundamentals courses, certainly the one I did with Tommy, it's universally applicable. So it's not about learning how to do non-metal metallics or OSL or weathering or any of that stuff. It's about just doing the basics properly. And if you can do the basics properly, you make everything better. Everything better, from how you apply your base coat, to how you apply your highlight, to how you apply your shading, to everything. Detail and freehand, the works gets better. So I had a great time. I had a really great time. I know,
it was great. You was absolutely chuffed.
It was well worth the 700 odd miles I had to drive.
It's a long way, wasn't it? Yeah.
But Go Trek and Felix's store, Go Trek's new audiobook, made the journey a lot faster. Thanks for lending me that, because that was just magnificent.
Wonderful. It is really good. Can't wait for the next one. So, was there anything else you wanted to cover off on the hobby desk?
It seems like it feels like a short hobby desk.
Well, we haven't done as much, have we?
Well, I've been playing games to get ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
For yesterday. So, no, I guess not.
That's all right. Well, we can cover those off when we get into
the other sections. Yep.
So let's go into the Galaxy of War. Welcome to the Galaxy of War. That's right, it is that section, isn't it?
It is that section.
You're looking at me and I'm like, well, hang on, what have I done here? So, it is still chaotic in the Galaxy of War, isn't it?
It's a good time for
Wonderfully chaotic.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be a Chaos follower, isn't it?
It really is. Where do we start?
Well,
because there is a lot.
There is a lot, isn't there? I don't really know where this. Shall we start with our game?
Yeah, start with it. Yeah.
So we were really fortunate in that Martin and then Wade invited us up to play on Warhammer TV. They'd heard tales of our tactical prowess and felt that needed to be shared with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've recently done that. We did that on Friday night. Hopefully some of you were able to watch that on the stream. You can go back and watch it. You will need a Twitch subscription to do that. If you've got Amazon Prime, I think, certainly you used to be able to do this. You can have a free Twitch subscription through Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's quite cool.
It might have changed that, but hey ho, who knows? So we decided to go for a narrative game because that kind of suits us better.
Well,
really.
and it was the GT weekend, and frankly,
Yeah.
there's a lot of match play on Warhammer TV, and I didn't fancy being compared to
No.
the finalists.
No, well, we don't want to make them look bad, do we? And I suppose the first thing for me is beforehand, we were both a little bit nervous.
A little bit.
You were very nervous.
I was, yeah.
But, I've come to terms with how embarrassing I am, so it's not so bad for me. But the guys made us feel massively welcome.
Yeah.
So
It was really good.
Ben Bailey, Raph, and Simon Grant were sort of involved. So in getting everything set up and commentating, and they were just great, weren't they? Just great talking about hobby and talking about armies, and you get big space to put your army, don't you? Like next to the gaming table.
Because we've spoken about this a number of times, is that I think the biggest con in Games Workshop is this idea that you need a 6x4 table.
Oh, yes.
You need at least an 8x4 table,
Yeah.
if not more. One of the best things I think about Titanicus is it very openly states this is a 4x4 game because you'll need the other 2x4 to put your gubbins in. But we had a whole table, massive table to put our stuff, so it was loads of room. It's like the most comfortable game I've ever played, I think.
Yeah, it was really good, wasn't it? Yeah. So as we said, we went with a narrative. The narrative was that we had Ragnar's favourite drinking partner was right in the centre of the board, because I'd captured him, and my forces were trying to turn him into a Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. You know, I think that's quite a positive move forward for him, myself.
Not sure he would agree.
Probably not, no. So we had sentries, and Ben was sneaking onto the board, and then all the alarms go off, and then Ben freed the guy, and then we sort of ad-libbed in some rules that if I killed him, he'd turn into a bloodthirster, because if we hadn't, then the game would have been over in half an hour. And he burst out, and then he got shot, and it was good, wasn't it?
I thought it was great, yeah.
We had a lot of fun. We played through the scenario beforehand, mainly just to remember the rules of 40k a little bit. But for me, it's been a really exciting eye-opener to narrative. Coming up with a narrative. I've very rarely done that. As much as I love it, and I've always thought, oh yeah, you can change scenarios. It's quite rare for me to do that. Like, it's certainly in Age of Sigmar, I've never done that. I've always played match play. Yeah. And I loved it, man. I loved it. And the great thing about narrative is, because we were there to just to enjoy the game, when it, like I said, like, when it wasn't quite right, when you'd released him, and that was it, we just came up with something else because it would be fun. Yeah. Don't we?
Yeah.
And that was ace. Yeah. So now we're full of ideas because, we want to hopefully come up and play again, and we're not going to talk about it because it's secret awesome that's going to come along.
It is great. That's Age of Sigmar we want to do.
We're on the Age of Sigmar next. So
we have an awesome idea.
We've got an idea for a narrative for that. So yeah, I absolutely loved our game.
It was totally different from our run through.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
You beat me in the run through, like, thoroughly. Ragnar killed 3 Hellbrutes and the Chaos Lord. And then in the actual game, he did nothing. He just got stomped.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a shame.
Well, you did line him up for heroic combat, but you were a bit taken aback by how well your Frost...
I did not expect it to kill it. It just went, done, sorted.
Yeah. So on that, I was really happy that your dice did not do what they normally do to you.
Yeah, no, I was too.
The first 2 turns, my dice, I was ready to, like, just throw them out the window. It was ridiculous. But that was fine, because I was like, well, at least it's been recorded, so we can... And then there was a point when I picked up a stool in an effort to throw it at you, because you...
wasn't caught on camera.
Well, you had 2 saves to make,
Double six.
You needed 6s, and it was a double 6, and I was just losing my mind. So, do go and watch it back if you haven't watched it already, because we had a great time doing it. We hope you like it. If anyone's got any thoughts, feedback, things they'd like to see, that would be pretty ace as well, because
we do want to come back and do another one.
We do want to come back and do another one, and it would be really nice to know what you guys thought, I suppose, if you've watched it.
My favourite bit was when 2 Hellblasters
oh my goodness.
Pistol whipped your Hellbrute.
Yeah, 1 Hellbrute versus 2 Hellblasters, and the Hellbrute lost. You know, combining the fact that they shot him a bit, took some wounds down. He had 1 wound left, charged in, and I was like, oh, he'll be alright, I'll activate Summon Outs over there. In fact, that was where you rolled the 2 6s, wasn't it? Because I whacked them.
Yeah.
And it's -3 AP.
Yeah.
And then you double 6'd it, so neither of them died, and then they kicked him in the shins and killed him. That's ridiculous.
It's a great moment.
That's why games are ace, though.
Yeah, absolutely, because you can never really predict. As much as match play, you can control a lot of parts of it. It's still, at the end of the day, it's a chance game based on dice, and the most ridiculous thing can happen. Like 2 Hellblasters shooting a massive dreadnought. So yeah, it's good.
Madness. So, Shadowspear?
Shadowspear, wow. It's just wow. So we picked it up yesterday. I mean, we've spoken about the models already, but and as ever, the photographs are cool. They capture a lot of him, but they don't do anywhere near as much justice. And I think that I'm really excited about what this box means for the future. Not just what's in it, but what it actually, like you said, what's not in it is more exciting than actually what is in it. Mm-hmm. So if anyone hasn't watched Voxcast with Jess Goodwin, it is absolutely worth it, because there's some great insights into
the latest, because there were 2 Jess
Goodwins, the most recent one. Some great insights into how the Primaris were constructed and what the thought process was surrounding them. Little things like, for all of their kind of fancy new equipment and like modern techie looking stuff, the Primaris are still Space Marines. So the snipers have got like a special purity seal next to their ammunition pouch, so they can bless each round before it goes into their rifle, and that's just wonderful. That's so Space Marine. So where should we start with it? So what it represents is the Vanguard force in Space Marine chapters, which almost retconned, I suppose. They've put in, well, sorry, retconned, probably it's been intended from the start, but they haven't spoken about it up until now, is that they have been a lead force, a sort of advanced force for since Guilliman brought the Primaris into existence. And what it says essentially is that they move ahead of the lines, they do all the sabotagey stuff, but they are fully functional, fully trained, fully genned up Space Marines. They're not scouts. So they pack a punch, a real punch. They're heavy hitting, but they're kind of working behind enemy lines. And I love the sort of little story in there where actually the Chaos genuinely did not know what was going on, as everything was going wrong. You know, ships weren't taking off, dams were collapsing, Titans were getting boiled in lava because they'd opened a lava gate, and they're like, what is going on? And they thought they were all, it was other factions in the Chaos forces that were doing it to each other, so they were all fighting amongst themselves. And then Guilliman shows up with the Indomitus Crusade and he's like, oh, bosh! And it wasn't until that happened that they were like, oh, we've been played. So they're really cool. So narrative-wise, and this is always a big part of me when it comes to Space Marines, is I want to know how they fit into a chapter and what their point of them is. Every Space Marine is now trained in the use of the Phobos armour, which is the scout or the lighter version of the armour. And they're trained how to be Vanguard Marines. So they're trained in all the kind of sneaking around and the stabbing people in the throat kind of stuff. And then they retain that and maintain that knowledge once they've finished their scout training, and they go into the battle line companies. So that if ever they're needed to fulfill that role, they can literally stick on their suits of Phobos armour and head out and do that as part of that mission. And then every chapter maintains a unit or a standing force of Vanguard. So for the Codex chapters, the 10th company has now been made into a Vanguard company led by I think he's called the Master of Reconnaissance or something like that. And we're assuming, because it doesn't explicitly say, that the 10th company now is probably pretty massive, because it's got the Vanguard force and probably the Scouts. We don't know if they've made an 11th. Seems a little bit undecimal for Gilliman to have an 11th one, doesn't it? And that unit, that force of 100 Vanguard, then gets seconded to the other companies as they're needed, and take on their livery for those operations, or fight as a whole company if the whole chapter's gone to war, which is, I think, really cool, because it implies that Primaris and Astartes now are not so rigid. They're developing a flexibility that has only really been there for people who wore Terminator armour before. That they now think, I'm doing this mission, I'm going to wear this pattern of armour. I'm doing that mission, so I'm going to wear that pattern of armour. I've got to achieve this objective, so I'm going to take this load out to do it. And I really like that. I really, really like that. Should we talk about some of the rules? Because some pretty cool stuff in there.
I think we should talk about the better side of the box first.
Yeah, we'll do that, because that's yours. You can do that.
So, unlike you, though, I haven't read through the background for the Demonkin side. I did look at a couple of the rules. So I can't really say as much as you did. Only that it's better. So, obviously, you've got the Venom Crawler, couple of the new Greater Possessed, the new Chaos Space Marines, which look ace.
Yeah.
The Catherine Wheel guy, as you call him.
He's just stunning.
Yeah.
He really is. As much as the jokes about the amount of fire on him, but he is just like a walking inferno of hate. That skull mask. Yeah, so good. So good. Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's alright, because I haven't got very much to say, so you can interrupt me all you like. Make it a bit more interesting.
So the first thing that you turn to, because we've been really interested by what role the Greater Possessed have. Because when we saw the models, we thought, they're going to be possessed. But they're not. They're Greater Possessed. And they are filth.
They are savage. So, normal Possessed at the moment are not particularly effective. Disappointingly so, because it used... Excuse me, yawning. Anyone would think I was up late last night.
Do you need a drink? I can make you another coffee if you need.
No, it's okay. Oh my goodness. Right. Normal Possessed used to be really terrifying, and now not so much.
Yeah.
To the point where I used to have a unit of Possessed, partly because in the original Demonkin Codex you needed one. But now I field them throughout my Khorne Berserker unit, which actually I quite like, to be honest. I really do like that, because it's
smattering of
gives the variation, yeah. But these guys are insane. So they are strength, toughness, wounds, and attacks 5.
Yeah.
They can also have a Legion trait.
Yeah.
So World Eater's Legion is if you charge, you get +1 attack. So that can be 6 attacks. They hit on 2s.
Yep.
And their weapon is a -2 rend and D3 damage. So they are tasty. So I really like them. I really like the models as well.
And they've got this cool rule where anyone within 6 or any unit within 6 gets +1 to their strength.
Yeah, which is interesting because units are always considered to be within of themselves as well.
Yeah. I think that's what would have been counted on the stat line.
But it doesn't say that. And normally it does say that.
You can clarify that today with someone. I think that they're going to be strength 5.
Nah, they won't. Also, they get set up at the same time, but they act independently. So you can have 2.
Cool.
And they can just wander around like mini characters, really.
Yeah.
Are they characters? Yeah, they have got the oh my goodness, they've got the character keyword.
So they can't even target them properly.
Woohoo! I'm going to be getting them, taking them up, 2 of them.
They are brutal. They are
are.
absolutely brutal. Stick them in a unit of Khorne Berserkers, they'll be strength 6 with their chain axes. That's savage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they can't. For me, I think that's probably.
No, because they're not demonic. You've got to be demonic to get.
Demon units.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
yeah. So it's not just everybody.
Oh, that's a shame. So I imagine bloodletters don't need any more strength bonuses. They're already
Yeah, but they're
bad
not.
enough.
They
as it
don't.
is.
They don't do it for bloodletters anyway, even though they're demonic, because it's got to be Heretic Astartes, I think. Does it? Mark of Chaos. Legion, yeah. So they won't be Legion. So Khorne, World Eater, Demon. So like Mauler Fiends, Forge Fiends.
Oh. Okay, so that's not as powerful as I thought it was.
No.
So that's quite a limited number.
Possessed, obviously.
Well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the point of them. So they actually
Yeah.
bolster
Well, that's
possessed
what I'd
units,
imagine
yeah.
it is. To be fair, I don't think that will have an impact on a big impact on possessed.
No.
But we'll see. We'll see what comes out, what goes on. So yeah, really nice box. I think what I'll probably do is get 2 of the Greater Possessed.
Yeah.
As a start. And then I might get some Venom Crawlers. I don't think I'm going to get... Because as much as I said a couple of episodes ago, I need to do a Black Legion army, and I would love to do a Black Legion army.
But no one would be surprised if you're changing your mind about what you're going to collect.
No, I know. I know. But I love my Khorne, and refreshing them last week has just made all the difference. I've just fallen in love with them all over again.
Yeah. What you call them.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Just hopelessly in love with them.
Yeah.
So.
Hopelessly devoted to you. I should have been in Greece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. So, is this the, yeah, no, that's not that one. So, the Space Marine ones, Vanguard Space Marines. I'm going to pick out a few rules that I like, because I could do the whole thing, because I really like a lot of this.
Did we talk about Abaddon on the last one?
No, we haven't. We're going to do that in a minute.
Okay.
I can't have all the chaos in one go.
Okay, fair enough.
It's difficult to stomach. So,
Did you know that Abaddon is coming out?
yes, I did.
Oh.
Yeah. Lieutenant.
How many times is this funny if I talk about Abaddon?
Lieutenant. So it's a
There's one of those dead on his base.
There is. Not this one, though.
That was genuinely good.
I'm thrown off now. So the lieutenant in Phobos armour, another lieutenant, but this time is different. So he's got grav shoot, which is cool. So he can deploy just about anywhere. He has the standard sort of reroll wound rolls of 1 within 6 inches. It's called tactical precision this time. He's got the new bolt carbines are quite cool. And we'll talk about those in a second for the Phobos power. But his one, mastercrafted Oculus bolt carbine. Units don't receive the benefit of cover to their saving throws from attacks made with this weapon. So the kind of the overwhelming theme is that they are more accurate with these weapons. They're precision shooters.
I really don't get cover in the new game. Really. So you have to be wholly within a piece of terrain, don't you?
Yeah, your unit does. Yeah.
The unit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so rare it ever comes up.
If you
But then I suppose that's because a lot of my terrain, if you think about my terrain collection, is impassable, like big blocks.
Yeah.
So you don't get in it.
If you have a building and you stick a unit of Space Marines on top of it,
Yeah.
they've got 2+ arm save. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. That's clearly over the top, isn't it?
So this is my favourite rule of them. It's called Knife Fighter. Any unmodified hit made of 6 with this weapon's plus combat weapon scores 2 hits instead of 1. So this wonderful image of being a little blade merchant is going to be wicked. I love him. So the next one is the bolt guns, because I think that it's quite interesting. Different variants of bolt guns coming out. The new bolt gun that they're carrying is the Marksman's Bolt Carbine. Each unmodified roll of 6, hit roll of 6 with this weapon, automatically wounds. Which I just think is ace. Absolutely ace. They've got a fair number of cool stuff, so they can set up in a concealed position. Enemy units can't set up within 12 of them, so you can really, if you're taking these units, sort of control deep striking armies where they can be, really spread them out across, force them into places and then gun them down, which I quite like.
I think you may see that start to become a theme. I think there will be other things, not just in the Space Marine army, but
can control where people.
Yeah, because that's just another like a change, an evolution, isn't it?
It also makes it an optional choice.
Yeah.
So you can accept that someone's going to deep strike, or you can take the units which will control where they deep strike. So that's pretty cool. What's also ace is that they've got a little medic in the unit, which has the sort of medic special rules, so they can sort of help to regain a wound.
That kind of goes well with the idea that they would all be operatives on their own somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Are
you imagining that you're that guy?
What guy? The medic?
The medic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like them. I think they're ace. There's a lot of character in that unit. The stat line is identical to a Primaris Marine. The other one I want to talk about, the last one I want to talk about, is the Eliminator round for the Mortis round, the Eliminator squad. This is filthy. I love it. This is sniping at its greatest. So I don't know there's no background on how the Mortis round actually works, but in my mind, they've got some kind of see-through all scope with a whopping powered rifle. Basically, this weapon can target units that are not visible to the firer, and they add 2 to the hit rolls for this weapon, so there's really hammering target. And then units don't receive cover or saving throws, kind of benefits for cover to their saving throws made against this weapon. So it's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So there's no hiding from these guys. If they want you dead, you're dead. And the heavy one, damage 1, AP -1. So 3 of them can take down a minor character.
What's their range?
36.
Can they target characters?
Oh, this weapon can target a character, even if it's not the closest enemy unit. In addition, while attacking, they can choose one of the profiles. So there's a couple of profiles. The Executioner round does -2 AP, D3 damage, and a roll of 6 for this weapon inflicts a mortal wound, in addition to its normal damage. So that's the one for taking down big tough beasties. There's a Hyperfrag round, which is just an explosive round, which is just fantastic. It's like a missile launcher. So they're quite exciting. 3+ weapon skills and ballistic skills there. So
interesting. It's interesting that the ballistic skill is 3+. Like when you consider that they're specifically trained for that, and
But the Mortis round, which is their standard sniping round, effectively, is an extra 2. So you're never missing unless you're rolling 1.
+2?
Yeah, add 2 to the hit rolls for this weapon. So unless you're rolling a 1, good stuff, innit? So yeah, that I love it. And the background in there, I really, really like it. It fills the gaps for. I think a lot of Space Marine players feel the same. They want to know what these new units are and why they're there and what role they fill and where they fit in the Codex Astartes. Would have been nice to have seen like a force organisation chart to show where they fit within the
I wonder if you will see that, because there'll be a new codex at some point.
Yeah, there will.
Something worth noting, I know we say, well, you've already said it once, but the dudes, what are the dudes called with the autocannons that are flying?
Suppressors. They
look so cool when you see them in a cabinet.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they look totally different. Yeah. I think that's been the case with a lot of the Primaris stuff, that actually when you see them in person, I did not get the Reaver wings until I built a squad of Reavers, and they were like, this is just awesome. They're awesome. Reavers, by the way, are part of the Vanguard divisions. I just think they choose the most psychotic ones to become Reavers.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
anything else to cover off in the Galaxy of War?
Apart from Abaddon.
That's ironic, isn't it? I forgot.
Yes.
After all of that, I'm mostly thinking about lying down and curling up on this bed, to be honest. So Abaddon. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
It is an incredible reimagining of that model. It is Abaddon. Like you know, if you know,
if you've seen the silhouette
about 40K,
of it,
yeah, you know that is Abaddon. It is absolutely wonderful. The best bit about him is that with him and Gilliman, I've been seeing on the internet people replacing the weapons with tennis rackets and throwing up a ball.
Yeah.
So that is excellent. I think a really good design choice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get him to paint. Even if I don't do Black Legion, I just want him on the side.
He's so iconic. And we've spoken a couple of episodes ago about reimagining old models. I talked about Ulrich the Slayer and various Space Wolf models because Space Wolves are awesome. But Abaddon, there's a lot of emotion in that model. A lot of people have been waiting for him a very, very long time. And it's the pressure sculpting something like that you must feel like the weight of the whole community, because even the people who don't collect Chaos expect something like Abaddon to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as soon as I opened that community page, I was like, yes, that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. And I like how there's variations on it as well. 3 different heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just... a lot of it is going to be the same for everybody.
Did you see Abaddon last night?
No, I did not see
Max showed me a picture, and it's basically the band members from ABBA, but with Abaddon's various faces.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that is excellent.
So I agree. I think he's a bit like Gilliman. I'm probably never used Gilliman in the game, but I bought him because he's awesome.
Yeah.
And I will buy Abaddon because it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
He is excellent. Could I book him in as the thing you paint for me for Christmas?
No.
It does. Yeah. I love him. I like that he was a big part of the backstory in the Rise of the Primarch stuff, but he wasn't done then. And actually, I almost thought he was going to die. And then...
Well, he wasn't a big story in the Rise of the Primarch. He played no direct role in any of it, other than raging in his command ship.
Well,
until he was sort of deployed right at the end to fight. There's that big battle in the caverns where the Tesseract dudes throwing companies of Ultramarines into existence.
Yeah.
And he almost gets killed then. I suppose that's the only time he was in it.
But he orchestrated the basically everything that went down.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about the models that they produced for it, they were narrative models for the story.
Yeah.
And then people could have gone with like the normal Abaddon model for that, whereas they didn't have a Gilliman and they didn't have all the others. So I thought it was going to die. I genuinely did. In that cavern, I thought for one moment the Wolfen were going to come in and just have his head off. That would be the end of it.
Wolfen couldn't do that.
You wish. You hope. No, probably not. I haven't seen the size of him now. He's massive.
No.
He's gone from being like little mini meter.
I think he could hold in his claw the old model.
Yeah. that would be a pretty awesome conversion, I think. I could do a little cast it in clear resin and have like a hologram of himself in his hand.
Yeah.
Right, so 40k then?
Can I lie down now?
You can lie down. You can have a break. Right, guys, we'll see you in the Mortal Realms after Dan has recovered a bit. Right, guys, this is... we're back at Dan's house, and we've just recorded the Mortal Realms section, but we've just been online and seen the pre-orders for next week, and we got a bit excited, so we thought we'd record a little add-on to Galaxy on the Wall. So, Abaddon, or Abaddon? Yeah, I think it's Abaddon. He's obviously on there. I'm looking very good. But what's probably the most exciting is what comes afterwards, because we've not seen any of this yet.
No.
So, new unit of Chaos Space Marines, and they are lush.
They are very nice.
They are absolutely lush. That unit sergeant
He looks great, doesn't he? I like, there's lots of different poses as well. So that one there's very cool. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Up the back there. I will share these pictures. I was in the middle of doing it. But now we're doing this. So look at that guy.
Your belt of bolt rounds.
And he's got a belt of bolt rounds.
Yeah.
That's immense.
So it's a great mix of close combat-y looking dudes and dynamic looking positions, but then people with bolt guns and range weapons looking very tactical.
There are enough parts inside to build 2 units of 5, each with a special or heavy weapon. Chaos Icon and appropriately sinister looking aspiring champion. Wow, so there must be loads of bits in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You can do close combat or long range fire teams. Oh my goodness, there's going to be loads of changes. Oh no. It was only a few hours ago that I said I wasn't doing the Black Legion.
It was, yeah. It was
Wasn't
only
it?
a few hours ago.
Oh dear.
The next thing
The next thing is amazing.
is the Stargate.
Oh,
It is an actual Stargate.
that is incredible. The only problem with that is that it buffs psychic powers.
Oh. Maybe you'll get endless spells for 40k.
Yeah, that's what I want.
It's called the Noctilith
Crown.
Noctilith Crown. Made out of blackstone. And
Oh,
it can
hang
use
on,
to
hang on,
strengthen
hang on.
or weaken or strengthen the power of the warp.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's what Blackstone does. Right. It says here, used to sunder the bell and allow ingress for demonic allies. Oh, so it will probably help with summoning words. Oh, good. So I can use it for something. Well, that's jolly good, isn't it?
It's a Stargate into the Chaos Realms.
That's amazing.
And then we've got some sneak...
I'm not going to lie, right? I quite enjoyed Stargate, and Teal'c's a badass, but if that happened, they wouldn't do very well, would they?
Nope.
Iris up! Khorne cares not for your iris!
And then there's some previews of the Vigilus Ablaze book, which is looking pretty cool. And a brand new Chaos Space Marine Codex.
Woo! It's actually, to be fair,
It's an
it is an
updated.
updated one. So, and interestingly, and this gives an indication of how, I suppose, small the changes in the codex will be, is what it says is, if you already own the Chaos Space Marine Codex, just if you buy Vigilus Ablaze,
You'll be
the
set.
two together will do everything you need. And at Plus, you can download the data sheets for the units from the new box
Shadowspear.
for free. Okay, so what that says to me is nothing that's existing in there
It's going
is going to change. But if you buy the new codex, they're doing all the points changes and everything from chapter approved,
Yeah.
putting all of that in. So I'll want Vigilus Ablaze, and I'll want the codex. Oh man, yeah, it is the time of chaos, isn't it?
It is the time of chaos. Well, so we'll go Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Da, 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 da. That's the wrong
That's
music.
Lord.
Oh! Oh dear. Dun, 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 dun. That's the Back to the Future music.
Yep. Right, off to the Mortal
I am
Realms
on form.
for the second time.
Apple Dini!
Hi guys, and welcome back to episode 41. We've had a bit of a break.
Driven home from Nottingham.
We're now back in Dan's hobby room, which is a lot more comfortable than the Premier Inn. Not like 24 degrees Celsius for a start.
Yeah, a lot calmer. So, just quickly, we've got a little visitor. So Joshua is sat on my leg because he's happy that Daddy's home, which is nice. Hello? You okay? You want your popcorn, right? Okay. Well, do you want to go downstairs then? Okay, say bye. Bye. Ah, off he goes. Off he goes.
There we go. Josh's inaugural
Bye-bye.
episode.
There we go. So, Mortal Realms.
Nothing interesting's happened.
Chaos! So, a lot of excitement.
Been a
From
bit of a
50%
roller
of the
coaster
piece.
for you. Come on.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
First of all, there was a lot of excitement, and then you read the data sheets and got a bit upset because your army had been completely nullified. And then you got excited because you had to build a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting, to talk about. So, obviously, when the models were shown first, really excited to see the judgments.
And the spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See the judgments. And all the other bits and bobs. So, loads of excitement for Khorne, really happy. And then just since, I think Saturday, Games Workshop updated all of the War Scrolls
That was
that
Friday
you
night.
can download. Oh, Friday
Yeah, it
night
was
that you
Friday
can
night.
download from their website. So that when I checked just now, the app hadn't been updated. Usually the app gets updated after release.
Yeah.
But yeah, they updated the downloadable War Scroll. So that meant that a number of changes were visible.
Yeah.
So changes have been that, for me personally, the big ones for me is, the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. So his ability, I've spoken about it a lot. Currently, until Saturday, choose a unit within 16 inches, and that unit can run and charge and gets +1 to both run and charge moves. That's what it does at the moment. It's changing, and it's going to be, excuse me, sorry guys, but it's now a wholly within ability, within 16 inches, and it's reroll hit rolls or reroll ones to hit, something like that. So that's a bit different. Wrathmongers, the way they work has changed, so they deal mortal wounds if they die, which is a simpler mechanic, to be fair, but it does mean that the original reason for doing them, or putting them in the list, was for monsters, so if monsters hurt them. So it's not quite the same, because
It's worth explaining what they did before. Because,
so what they do at the moment is, if one does, immediately one is removed from play, pick an enemy model that they're within 3 inches of, and it can attack its own unit, or indeed itself. So the reason, obviously good for monsters, because monsters typically deal out a lot of damage, so they'll kill someone and then whack themselves. So that was quite, I quite liked it.
Yeah, and it came up in our game, actually. I charged that unit with Gorgrunt as completely oblivious to that ability.
Yeah, I mean, actually, in the end, they didn't do lots to the Gorgrunt.
But it was potentially something that could have gone quite wrong. I mean, it didn't help me in any way that it didn't work on me, but, goblins would have been far better suited to dealing with them.
Yeah. So, a couple of changes there, which affect how I built my army before. Now, so, I want to clarify why I was feeling a bit like, because, don't get me wrong, I am very much aware that it's awesome because I get a new battle tome. And I am now in a really excited place. But, as you guys may have gathered from listening to the podcast, it takes me quite a while to get things done. Yeah. So the Bloodthirster was being worked on for over 12 months.
Yeah.
The Wrathmongers were a long time. And it takes me a long time to get the army done that I want to play with.
Yeah.
So that when I'm playing a game, I'm getting to do the stuff I want to do tactically. Yeah. It's not just that I want to win, because that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is losing and feeling completely like you have no control at all over what's going on.
Yeah.
So I like to have an army where I can do things and interact. So it takes me a long time to get to there. I'm quite stubborn about, I don't want to use unpainted miniatures, which is my choice. So I've only really just wrapped that sort of 1,000, 2,000 point list to be where I want it to be. And then there's this change. So my frustration was simply that I'm going to need to paint more things now, which is going to take me more time to get there. So that's why I felt a bit, disappointed, but it is what it is. It's happening. It's quite a simple choice, really. I either embrace it and crack on, or, I don't know, go and start playing Tiddlywinks, because that hadn't changed for a long time, so.
Nope, it hasn't.
And I don't really fancy Tiddlywinks, so. No, what I've decided instead is to embrace it.
I think it's a really positive part of Age of Sigmar, actually, and every time there is a new release, it does feel like almost the dynamic of an army can change radically sometimes. And I think it's good for keeping people on their toes, not just the people who are playing with them, but the people who are playing against them. And it sets new challenges for people to sit down and pull through the codex and work out how they're going to make it work this time. It can feel a little bit like, I've always played Space Marines for 40k, and they've never really felt much different until the Primaris came out. They've always felt roughly the same. The choices that I made, from one edition to the next, didn't make a great deal of difference. So I think it's a great thing.
What's really cool is that it brings other things into play.
Yeah.
So
units that weren't previously
Blood Crushers,
used,
which I'd never really used.
Yeah.
Absolutely going to use them now, which is great because I've got 8 of them painted. So Skull Grinder, so that's the guy, for those that don't know, he's like swinging a smoking anvil.
Yeah.
So they've improved him. Never used him before, gonna bring him in.
Yeah.
The Blood Secretor, so that's the banner guy, he has lost his ability to give immune to battle shock. And also the Gore Pilgrims battalion can't expand out his area of influence so far, like to 36 inches as it could before. However, he can now move around, so he doesn't have to plant the banner for it to work.
Yeah.
So he can take his +1 attack bonus with him where he goes, which is really good. And also what they've then done is they've taken that battle shock thing and given it to the Exalted Deathbringer, so he can spend a command point and any units wholly within 18 inches of him don't need to take a battle shock test, which actually is quite suitable because, well, he's an Exalted Deathbringer. He's like the leader guy that smashes heads to keep them all sorting out. So the stuff's still there. It's just in other places. Plus we get the Judgments of Khorne, which are just cool. They look really good. Looking forward to those, to modelling those, and the terrain piece, which is really nice.
I really like that terrain piece. I mean, we spoke about it earlier, if I can remember rightly. We did talk about that earlier, didn't we?
I think so.
It's been a few hours.
Yeah.
I really like that. I particularly I like the pieces of terrain where it's obvious that a model's supposed to be in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that one is very clearly, it's got the, I came up with the name perfectly earlier. The angry dude.
Slaughter Priest?
Slaughter Priest on it in the picture.
The angry dude when describing the guys in the Khorne army.
And I think I just love it. It's really cool. Nice focal centerpiece to the army.
Yeah.
Great.
I am very much looking forward to getting it.
I'm quite happy to see more and more of this Holy Within coming in. I am. And I know you're smiling because you were using it, the opposite of it, to jank me in the game that we played.
Your genuine shock on your face.
I need a shower after using tactics like that. But no, I think it's a good thing because I think one of the things that it will do is change the way the setup of Age of Sigmar is on the board, how the units look, what they look like, rather than long stringy lines and weird little extensions of units to stay in catchment zones. You're going to get blobs. I think blobs are good.
It's interesting in as much as this period of transition is always the more challenging part because some armies do not have it.
Yeah.
And some do. But yeah, I mean, I as much as it frustrates my tactics, I completely agree with you. It looks so much better and it was absolutely ridiculous. That my rather long snaky line that I then took a load of models out of. You were just like, what is going on? To be fair, you know, you were feeling a bit of sympathy, but then we played our game and,
I felt no sympathy at all. It needed
no,
change.
I know.
My poor Iron Jaws.
Well, you got to turn 2.
I did get to turn 2. Yeah. At least my war boss did something.
Oh my goodness! So Ben's war boss on foot, mind you.
Yeah.
30 bloodletters he killed.
Well, down to the last
and they
3.
charged him.
Yeah. No, he was a bit cross. He killed his mate.
He was very angry, wasn't he?
I was really hoping that. There's the output of mortal wounds from that unit is shocking, absolutely horrific. Little but you can do against that, really.
Interesting. They're not as good, which is fine, against characters because you can't get enough of them in.
Yeah.
Like, get enough attacks, but that's alright.
It's like because the swords have only got a 1 inch reach.
Yeah, but I think, so I know you're not, you know, you find that a bit frustrating, but I think you've got to bear in mind that they're not like a uniform unit that's going in and attacking properly. They're just like a frenzied horde, aren't they?
Maybe they should, try that.
They're a frenzied horde, so that's why they're like reach 1.
Maybe Khorne should give them spears.
Maybe.
Rather than having you whinging about how long their swords are.
No, it's all fine. I think it's completely appropriate. I do now. You convinced me.
Good, lovely, excellent.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. we obviously just alluded to the fact we played a game.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, should we talk about that a bit?
Yeah, so we played
1,500 points or
Yeah.
1,440.
Well, we played 1,500 because then we gave you a command point.
Yeah.
And a judge and a one of them. Yeah, Triumph.
I don't think I remembered to use that.
No, you didn't.
No.
But to be fair, you only had 2 turns.
No, it's true.
I haven't mentioned that yet, but you only had 2 turns to use it.
You're only labouring the point because I whooped your ass on community TV.
Yeah, no. I allowed you to win on community TV because that's friendship.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Focal points we played,
Yeah.
which is a different one. So focal points has
Diagonal setup.
diagonal setup. There are 5 objectives, and if you control the ones that are opposite each other, they're worth more points, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you went first. You took the first turn,
Yeah.
and for about 23 seconds, you considered holding the objectives
Yeah. it
and
crossed my
taking a
mind.
tactical approach, but then you just
Orked it.
and charged forward. So once again, the Iron Jaws showing just how fast they can go. So you had
I did well there. I mean, I managed to get that's at least 4 with the battalion rule on each of them, and then the characters activated all 3 of my battle line units to move again, as is their rule allows. So that's not all that easy to do. You have to roll a 6 for a normal character and a 4+ for your warlord. So that was quite lucky. But when that goes off, when it all falls together, that's amazing.
But actually, in the end, the reality was the damage output just wasn't there, was it? So they hit, but you killed 2 Wrathmongers with the Gore Grunters.
Well, Gore Grunters are a funny beast. If you charge over 8 inches, you do a lot more damage. I can't remember the details of the rule, but you do a lot more damage. But you have to accept that you've got to roll over 50-50, if you know, 4+ on 2 dice. I often don't trust that and end up going a bit closer. I should probably risk it a bit more. But when I've only got 1 unit of Gore Grunters, I think you have to put all...
Do you have to? So people will probably be hollering this. Do you have to charge by the shortest route? Because that, if you don't, and I should probably look it up before explaining what I'm thinking of.
Taking a convoluted route?
Yeah.
I don't think that.
It going like a crescent.
Yeah, no.
No, I know you wouldn't. Well, there you are. That's your own fault. So we won't bother looking that up. I will look it up later, just to intrigue me.
Answers on a postcard?
So not a lot of damage from them. The what used to be Black Orcs, so what are they called now?
Our boys.
Our boys. So they went into the Blood Crushers.
Yeah, and considering how tough that unit is, they didn't do too badly against it to start with, but then they just got mullered as soon as
Well, they
attacked
killed
them.
one, didn't they?
That's not bad for, they're not expensive unit.
And then the Brutes killed Scar Bloodwrath.
Without breaking a sweat, really.
Yeah, I mean, they had more than enough to deal with that, didn't they?
I should have probably done the Ard boys against him and put the Brutes up against the...
Yeah, I was trying to think what the deployment... Like, whether you had that choice or whether I placed for that. I think you did, because I think Scar went down quite early. But Scar comes back, so that was good.
Yeah, and he did come back.
And he did come back, I think.
Yeah, so pretty much the only decent thing I did in the game.
Yeah.
It was nullified by...
But then...
Is he still going to come back with the new rules?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's still a thing.
Yeah. My turn was a case of activating the banner and then just clobbering anything that I could get to.
Yeah.
And your... My Bloodthirster charged and gave everyone within 8 inches. And again, it's not, at the moment, it's not a wholly within ability. I don't even know if it exists as an ability still in the new book. But anyone within 8 inches was rerolling ones to hit. And because the Bloodthirster charged, they were also rerolling ones to wound. So it was just a lot of dice, wasn't it? And a lot of goodness, what's going on. And by the end of that, there was your Maw Crusher left.
He got smashed by the Bloodthirster.
The Bloodthirster.
Well, no,
Only just. I caused 11 wounds.
You got the second turn. You got the...
yeah, I got the double turn.
Yeah, you got the double turn. And that was it.
Which was obviously
Because if I'd have got the second turn, then
Yeah.
I'm more question would have killed your bloodthirster and then just walked through around the battlefield. That's how I'm going to see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think that's fair, but that's not what happened.
No,
so,
it's not. No, that's not what happened.
So, well, I don't know. It's probably not fair for me to judge whether it was a good game. It was nice to play you at Age of Sigmar. I hope you enjoyed it a bit.
Yeah, I don't mind winning or losing. It's the spectacle. And with my orcs, it's all about running it and stuff.
Yeah.
Got to use my squig dice.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, you did get to use your squig dice. I can't stand. I love the squig dice for being squig dice. They are very funny.
Yeah.
But in general, I am not a fan of faction dice used in the game because I don't trust them.
Well, I don't trust you, so.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? And the trouble is, it breaks... It's my own thing to deal with. It's fine. I don't care. I know that I have to deal with it. But because I don't trust them, it didn't matter. Like, we were playing, we were having a laugh, but it does affect my enjoyment of the game because I get convinced. I convince myself that they are not fair, they're not balanced, and then it winds me up, and I get all like... It's like the Legion dice when I play Tom. I flipping hate playing against the Legion dice because they just seem to roll a lot of sixes. And probably if you sat and you wrote all the results down for a game, it's probably not too bad. But I get convinced by it and then I get annoyed. But that's my own count, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, I just stop being such a moron about it. It was funny though, trying to keep the dice on the table.
Yeah.
The squig dice.
I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing. So if there's one other thing I think, moving on from our game that I'd like to talk about is this sneak peek that keeps coming in. Opening the vault. Forbidden Power, or whatever they're calling it. What do you think it is? I really, really hope that Sigmar hasn't done anything dodgy to build a Stormcast, because that would be a bit of a shame. I was a bit gutted when I found out the Emperor had made a deal with Chaos Powers to create the Primarchs. That was bad enough.
What do I think? I don't know. I have no idea. Forbidden Power.
Have you seen the little video?
Yeah, with the gates opening.
And then there's all like the souls inside.
Yeah. I was just going to say it's going to be... I wonder... I don't know. I wonder if it's going to be the, like the souls, because there are Stormcast, not all Stormcasts can be reforged.
When they can't be reforged,
they go in these statue
They
things,
go in the
don't
statues along the Avenue of Woes, I think they call it, or something like that.
Yeah,
and if you listen really quietly, you can hear them wailing.
So I wonder if it's going to be to do with that. Imagine if it was like animated constructs. Bit like Wraith Guard.
Powered by souls.
Yeah.
I don't think the people of Order would be all that chuffed with undead being used to...
Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
If you just looked up Scale Bloodwrath.
Yeah, so now, sorry to go off on a tangent now, but when he comes back at the end of the movement phase instead of at the beginning of the battle shock phase. So that means he's going to get a chance to charge when he comes back. And what you do instead, no models have to have been slain other than him. Whereas at the moment, 8 models have to have died that turn. And you roll 2 dice. And it's an 8+, which is very apt, isn't it? An 8+.
That's a lot easier.
It's not a lot. Don't be ridiculous.
So you've got to kill 8 models, and then on what does he come back?
A 4+. So that's a 50-50 chance. That's not a 50-50 chance, is it? So there you are. Take that back.
No. Absolutely not. Do you want to get them all printed off and then you can just read them and people can listen to you read the war scrolls?
No, that's fine. So, yeah, Forbidden Power. Be interesting.
I'd like to hear what other people think.
Yeah, well, let us know.
They can let us know what they think the forbidden power is, because I'm quite interested. They keep they're so good at this kind of just this little tiny bit, like a little tiny bit.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it?
I'd almost forgotten about it when they released it, like the second video at Gamma. So there we go. Where are we at? Is there any more to talk about in the Mortal Realms? We were going to talk about your tournament, but that ended up not happening because little boy had
Joshi won very well, yeah. So we didn't do that. I know it's not strictly Mortal Realms, but we did play some Blood Bowl.
That's Mortal Realms?
Ish.
I imagine it happens in the Mortal Realms. Let's talk about that, because that was awesome.
That would survive. Nuffle would survive, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
so we played some Blood Bowl. We, in our usual organised way, we rocked up to Warhammer World to play Blood Bowl, with teams, a pitch.
We had the pitch, didn't we? To our credit.
Some dice.
Yeah, I had the template.
Oh, and the templates.
Yeah.
No dugouts.
Nope.
No rules.
Nope. No almanac.
No almanac. Didn't know the stats of our players.
No, but did find out that they're on...
But luckily enough, yeah, they were on Battlescribe, and Baz very kindly lent us...
all the gubbins.
So
we got to play. It was great.
Yeah, it was good. Couple of solid touchdowns for the Orcs, and a couple of fantastic touchdowns for the Goblins. It's just unbelievable. So in the first drive, I got set upon by a guy with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
In the second drive, I was set upon by a guy wielding a ball and chain.
Yeah.
And in the third drive, I had a bomb thrown at me.
It's all completely legit.
Proper goblin shenanigans going on. And then a goblin thrown at me.
Yeah. Who
but
scored
it was
a
just
touchdown?
wonderful, wasn't it? Yeah. It was just... Well, the best bit was when the ball was, like, near my end zone. And you were making a run for it. And then my orc came over and tackled your guy, but knocked himself down as well. And then another one come over and fell down, getting there, tried to go for it and fell down.
Came down and knocked himself out.
Another orc came over and got knocked down. And then the original goblin just got up and was like, picked up the ball and scored a touchdown.
So
amazing.
Good. Brilliant.
So that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm loving that game more and more every time I play it. We have
it is good. It just takes a long time.
Yeah, we get to make it through to the end of the game. So we always finish at half time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
Hopefully, by next time, I will have got my hands on the book.
And you can give us a proper...
And I can talk about it properly.
Yeah, no, that's it, isn't it? I don't want to give tip, because we spent most of our journey back in the car when I wasn't asleep talking about our plans for...
We'd really like to go to Warhammer World and play on telly again.
Doing Age of Sigmar.
And do Age of Sigmar, and we want to do a narrative thing, so we've been talking about that. So, but we said earlier, actually, we don't want to give too much away, because it'll be fun.
Right, little tiny...
And also, if we talk about it, we might have to do it.
Little Instagram shots of, like, tiny bits of what we're planning. Right, dudes, let's move ourselves on to the community section.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about there. We'll see you on the other side of that.
Swear at me. Just because the community can't see it, they know. They know you are a bad person. Hello, glorious community! Guys, I don't know, what was I going to say? Welcome to the community section of episode 41. I'm a little bit off tune today for some reason. I don't quite know why. But it may have had something to do with attempting to fall asleep in the bathtub at 2 o'clock this morning. So, but who knows? So, community section, as ever. Going to start with our shout-outs.
Yeah.
Guys, please, if there's someone, obviously Games Workshop are doing their pretty awesome Hobby Heroes thing at the moment. It would be really cool if you guys know anyone that you think is worth a shout-out.
Unsung heroes.
Please tell us, because one of the things we've chatted about in our trip up and back from Warhammer World is we would like to try and do even more of these shout outs and highlighting the people out there who are doing some amazing stuff, and just deserve it really, because, you know, you guys post loads of great things and we love it all, and it's really, really nice, and we can give any recognition. And, you know, what struck us is we were fortunate enough to get some recognition from a couple of people over the weekend, and it meant a great deal to us. Yeah. So, you know, we want to try and give some of that back as well. So if you think of anyone, let us know, please. We'd like that. So Ben, you do, is it Instagram, all Instagram?
No, I've got one from Twitter.
From Twitter now?
I do all of them, but I tend to find that Instagram, for me, the easiest way to find models. So I spend most of my time on there. The first one I'm going to shout out is from Instagram though. Pharaoh Miniature Painter, Pharaoh spelled as in Faroe Islands. He's been working on some Dark Angels, and I just think that his colours and blending and the overall aesthetic of it, I'll show you the pictures of his Dark Angels, is really, really nice. I've been looking at his stuff to look at where he places his highlights for shiny armour. I find it really, really useful to do that with him. He does some great non-metal metallics on Stormcast. And if you're interested in looking at light placement on models and using really pushed up contrast to get some really nice shiny looking armour, particularly if you're Dark Angels, because that's his most recent stuff, then I would have a check out of his profile. Next one is the one from Twitter. This one is just a wonderful example of object source lighting by, the account is Shumalee, Seumalee, it's at Ben Alame, or Alame, so Ben Alame. And this is a Mordheim gang.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Done so they're in the night carrying torches, with the torches reflecting off of the unit, and they're just absolutely brilliant. And I think if anyone's interested in looking at object source lighting, where the object source lighting is like the primary focus on the model, and yet it does nothing to deter from them at all, it's really complementary to the whole unit, then that is a great little thing to have a look at. We'll obviously put these posts up on our show notes so people can find them really easily. But they're the two I'd like to shout out. A third one, who we have shouted out before, but I'd like to shout him out again because what he's working on is at the moment is different from what he has been before. He's been working on an undead horsey, which I thought was quite different from what I normally see him do, which is a lot of armour plates on Space Marines and that kind of stuff. But this one popped up, and I absolutely love it. The colours and the quality of the non-metal metallics all put together is really, really quite stunning. And then it caught my eye, and maybe go back through his profile. He's been doing a lot more other stuff recently that I hadn't noticed him do. So one of the things that really struck out is do you remember the Eldar Inquisitor model?
Yeah.
In the Inquisitor game? Yeah, he's done that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which I haven't seen in a long, long time. Was really nice to see. So, if I know we've shouted him out before, but if you haven't seen this stuff, then I would really suggest checking him out, because he does a variety of really cool things, and it's gorgeous. Laserhead 3000. So that's me. Over to you and our hobby forum, Dan.
Hobby forum. So as usual, hobby forum's been nice and busy. Yeah, so we'll start out with the competition. So the grime competition. Again, some really cool entries. Thank you very much to everyone that's entered.
It's been really awesome.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's great. It's really great to see. And thank you for everyone that's voted as well.
Yeah.
So that's really good as well. It's always nice to see stuff, like I said right at the start, about recognition. And I don't think, it might not be the case for everyone, but I don't think I can understate the sort of, I don't know, hobby lift you can give, even just by liking something that somebody's done, let alone commenting.
Yeah.
And it's, we all have times when we're painting things and we think, So, please do, if you've got the chance to, take the time to like things and comment on things, because people will really appreciate it. So thank you to those that do. One of my personal favourites was Rob Davies did a really nice Blood Warrior in a bone colour scheme, which
great,
is different.
wasn't it? Yeah,
really
it's
nice. Really nice to see that. But on to the winners. So in second place with a mighty 14 votes, Ben Chambers and his very nice Primaris Captain. That's the Gravisarmer one, isn't it?
That's the Gravisarmer one. Undisclosed Legion yet. Undisclosed chapter. He's trying to work out what's
He's
cool.
trying to decide, isn't he? So, but really nicely weathered. I love the base.
Yeah, it's great. It's
I
really
like the
lovely.
chipping. Like the rubber. He does. He looks like he's been fighting for ages, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's great.
It's really good. Love it. So that's good. And the winner with 20 votes is Jon Hammett. So he's done his Goliath, and well, he looks great, John. I love that he's got a chainsaw.
Superb.
Yeah, it's really good. The weathering's really nice. The glow on the plasma pistol, very good.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Glow against the grime is a very good contrast.
Hello, Joshua. Hello. You want a chair? Okay, the little visitor is back today. He's come in to raid my hobby room. Okay. So we've got our co-host back, our mini co-host.
He's sat on a chair.
He's
That's
sat on
twice
a
the
great
size
big
of ours.
chair.
He looks like a tennis umpire.
Cheese, Daddy.
So, thank you guys. They're really good entries. Shiny is
The next
the
thing.
next one.
Yeah.
Announced the winner episode 43.
Yes. Yeah.
Still
2 weeks
and
to go
then
for that.
it'll be time then. That'll be 3 then. So then it'll be time for a quarterly put them together, pick the best out of all 3, and somebody will win something cool.
Yeah.
Which will be good.
So
won't
shiny
it?
isn't about just the obvious shiny. You can sort of think outside of the box a little bit. Like we've already had one entry where it was Stillamania unit of I can't remember what they called them though, but basically Robin Hood and his merry men, done with gloss varnish on, which looks ace. I think it's really cool because Stillamania was have your army, make your army list, never change it, gloss varnish it twice, and play with it forever.
And learn to play with it,
And then if anyone ever beats you, it's because your army stays the same. And if you ever win, no one can ever take it away from you.
yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
So that was those. So that's great. Thank you again. And then our shout-outs. So we're going to just go find them. Now, one of them that I really liked was a Khorne army, but done unsurprisingly, I suppose, that it was a Khorne army, but done slightly differently with bone trim. Did you see that one?
I did see that. Yeah, it's very good.
So that was done by Brian Dennis. So Brian, big shout out to you, mate. One thing I'd really like to know, is you say you've got it ready for the new Battle Tome, is how you get on with it. Be really interested if you do play any games and can take any pictures, give any thoughts and feedback. I'd love to hear what you try. With your Khorne. So great. Nice to see another Khorne follower. We need more of those, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see too many Space Wolves, which is good. I'm pleased about that. We don't want too many of them, do we? Really? David Hardy has put a rather nifty looking, what is he?
It's from
What
Space
is he?
Crusade.
Space Crusade.
Yeah, it's great.
Guy. So he is very shiny. So that is looking really good, and I can't wait to see that finished. I think that's excellent.
That is really good.
Really nice.
They were
really
nice models, actually. They were well ahead of their time for Chaos Space.
Oh no.
Yes.
Ian Cox has done some Space Wolves.
Yeah, well, he's obviously a man with good taste.
Yeah, obviously. Ian, thank you, mate. Thank you for posting them. And finally, for this time round, Jon Askham's been up to it again, doing some wonderful Blood Angels. One with a purple glow on these guys. Really like them.
Yeah.
Really nice, Jon. They're very good.
I like the colours he chooses for his Blood Angel armour.
Yeah, they're really nice. Yes? Yes? Do you like them? Do you like them? Hello.
Right, so we have had someone contact us by email asking us to give a shout out to a group in Birmingham. So hi Matt, thanks for getting in contact. The group is Meeple's Mayhem, and he tells us they're a great place with lots of support for all sorts of games. He's recently started to get back into 40k, and they've been really awesome in helping him to do that. So, Meeple's Mayhem, we will post the link onto the community pages and onto our show notes. So thanks for getting in contact. And if anyone else has a good experience with a club or would like to shout out their local club, then please get in contact. We will do that for you.
And as ever, guys, please don't forget the upcoming Roll Dice
event,
Bristol City Open.
Yeah.
That is getting closer every moment.
It is.
So please check that out. John, who's behind that and organising that, is Jon Askham, that
we've just
shouted out. So as you can see, a really active hobbyist as well. There's a demon here.
Not even sure there's words involved.
Very good.
Right, so let's do the upcoming calendar. We'll start with Curtain Games. So March the 23rd is X-Wing Deluxe Wave Championship. March the 30th is a 2-day 40k event called the Cottonian Crusade. And April the 6th is Organised Play for Kill Team. We were just talking about Kill Team, actually.
Yeah. I think maybe in the next episode we could cover off our thoughts on Kill Team.
Yeah,
couldn't we? Yeah. That'd be good. That'd be a good section to stick in.
Moving on to Terror Games. They have pre-released for War of the Spark, which is Magic the Gathering, which we don't talk about a great deal. It's very popular, but we can't get involved because we just spent too much money on it.
Yeah, that's it. I can't. Yeah.
So, Last Man Sitting Chapter 6 is another one of their mental paintathons. So, full respect to anyone who's done them. I did a number of them in Games Workshop Plymouth, and nearly passed unconscious. And July the 9th is the Terranian Open War. So that's all they've got listed on their upcoming events. Do you want to do Bristol Independent?
Well, I think we do, because Joshua's spotted it, and so he's asking me what it is. So we'll do Bristol Independent Gaming. So events at Bristol Independent Gaming. So we have Counterattack 2019. That's on the 23rd of March. Then there's a Kings of War tournament, and that's on the 30th of March. Again on the 30th of March, you've got the monthly X-Wing tournament as well. On the 6th of April, a Bristol team tournament. I'm just going to click into that, see if I can quickly work out what... Let's have a look. What is it? Oh, it's a War Machine and Hordes event. There we go. We found that out. Big Day Out, which is the one that you were excited about, Ben, on the 7th of April. So that's the Middle-earth strategy battle game.
And the guys up at Warhammer World were saying that their recent Middle-earth tournament went really, really well.
They had 120 people, didn't they? So that's great. Amazing. Great to see. Then we've got on the 12th of April, it's Kill Team Friday. 13th of April, it's the Big Bristol 40k GT. So that's the 13th and 14th. And there's a lot of interest in that.
So Tom Carter's got in contact with us for an event that was held by the Yak Tribe Forum, which we will post some pictures of. A fantastic Necromunda event with some superb boards. So have a look at that, and we will get in contact. We'll put up some links if there's an upcoming event for those guys, because I think that's one of the best Necromunda events I've seen. Barb's Model and Games have got an upcoming tournament. Let me just find the details for that. It's a organised play 1K on April the 7th coming up. And finally, Darkstar Gaming in Plymouth. They have 24th of March. They have a Mantic Games Day. Well, they're not running that actually. That's at Layham Community Hall in Plymouth. On the Sunday the 24th.
Where?
Of March. Layham Community Hall.
Liam.
Same stuff.
Liam.
Devonish. Warhammer Champions Tournament at Darkstar Gaming on the 24th of March. And a Warhammer 40k tournament on the 30th of March. So loads of stuff coming up, dude. There's plenty of events for people to get involved in. So the demonic presence has left now.
Yeah. Just popping in now. Yeah, sorry about that, guy. Well, as you know, we're family. We're always chatting about family and fitting in family. And to be fair, Harriet has been absolutely amazing. So she's looked after Joshua well. We've been away. So, and the same to Joe, obviously, as well. I won't forget that. Don't want to get in trouble. But anyway, yeah. So Friday, was it, when did you come up? Thursday night, wasn't it?
Thursday night.
Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, now all day Sunday. So we've only got back in the last couple of hours.
And he's excited to see
And he's very excited to see, mostly Ben.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that, but it is funny because when I ring him up, when I've rung him up over the weekend, he's like, where's Ben? Where's Ben? I'm like, wait a minute, I'm here. So that's why, he keeps popping in to say hello and have a little chat. So, thank you for bearing with us on that.
I think that's our rundown.
So that was all our events. So lots of great events.
I did say the UK Expo date come up.
Is that June?
Yeah, I think it's June the 2nd, I think. What I really liked about this is they have made a point of talking about how it's what they've got going on for the whole family, which is really cool. And they made a real big point of it. And there's actually even a section on their website talking about the sort of stuff that is there for everybody. So I thought, trying to find the date for you now, guys.
It's the 31st of May and to June the 2nd.
There you go. 31st of May to June the 2nd. Awesome. So I think
31st of May is the due date. Baby 2 won't be going to this one.
So I think that's it, isn't it? Covered everything?
Yeah, other than to just reiterate once again, guys, thank you so much. 224 of you in the hobby group now. And what's wonderful is seeing more and more people saying, hi there, I've been watching, but I'm going to post something, and people just putting up their work because we just love it.
Yeah.
We really do, don't we? It's just ace to see it. And
it's a nice positive environment as well. So.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So that's a big thank you as well, because as you guys are likely aware, that there's a lot of environments on social media that are maybe not as positive around the wargaming hobby, and you see comments, and we don't
want that.
We don't want that. We don't need that in the hobby in our view. So thank you so much, because it's a real positive place to come, really positive place to post stuff, and that's because of you guys. We just sit and sort of
read it,
amble our way through a podcast in some kind of pretend professional manner. Don't we? So
on to the next awesomely professional part then,
which is
Middle Earth.
Shall I do the Back to the Future music for this one? Dun, 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 dun.
Hi guys, and welcome to Middle Earth. So this is our regular bimble through Middle Earth, just because we absolutely love the game, and we are super excited to see it back. And but we don't play it enough or paint it enough really to be able to do it every single time we do a podcast. But we are doing it this week. So what have we got out?
Well, I think what's exciting, I want to talk about first, Steve, is that Battle Companies is getting a revisit.
Is it?
Yeah, so Battle Company have announced that Battle Companies is getting a bit of a revisit. They can't, the article actually says they can't say a lot about it yet. There's going to be a 128-page supplement. It's going to revamp Battle Companies, and it's coming out very soon. So what excites me about this is Battle Companies is how I got my current Mordor army off the ground.
Yeah,
I've played it in the past and really I love Battle Companies, and I think it's a great, fun way to get anyone that doesn't currently play started.
So should we, for the people who haven't or don't have a clue about what Battle Companies is,
So Battle Companies is a real small size. So you start off, usually it's dictatorial on what you start off with, or it currently is. Yeah. So, for example, I think the Mordor Battle Company is 9 models.
Elves are only about 5, I think.
Yeah. And one of them is your leader, and then you have 2 sergeants, and those guys are able to. They basically act as heroes, but very low level. They're not like the uber heroes. And then, as you go through the game, you earn experience and influence, and you can use that to recruit more followers or buy equipment. Mm-hmm. It's got its own scenario set up. And what's quite fun, or what I enjoy about it anyway, is that you roll on the table to see what it's going to join your warband. So you can have quite a mix of things to paint.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And you can influence that a little bit. So you can use your influence, I think it is, to change the dice roll slightly. So you don't have to completely be at the whim of the dice. But it's nice because it's small games. Yeah. And they take about, I don't know, half an hour to start with.
And it is a great way of slow building force. And when it comes to Lord of the Rings, there's no structured army list. You can pick and choose from anything from your faction, or even across evil or good, the whole factions. So it's a really nice way of starting out. If you've never played Lord of the Rings before, but you really want to have a go at it, and we have been asked that question, where do we start? We both think Battle Companies is the best place to start at the moment.
Yep, absolutely. Well, because you don't have to have a hero miniature, you can literally just buy 1 box set.
Yeah, and call a guy.
Yeah, and that's what I did to start with.
Yep.
And then, like, if you want a banner, you can get that, and then before you know it,
you got a little
because
force.
What you can do, and I think I spoke about this when we first started covering Lord of the Rings, is so if, for example, you add a Warg Rider, well, you can't buy a single Warg Rider anyway, unless you find it on eBay, obviously. So you buy a box of 6. And then paint 4 of them as Warg Riders and 2 riderless Wargs, because they can stick around. So then you've got your one for Battle Companies, but in the background you've got these other ones.
Yeah.
And if you do that each time, so like, a Morannon Orcs joining me, okay, so I'll buy a box of Morannon Orcs, well that's now 24, I think, again, isn't it? Because they doubled them up again. So you might not want to paint all 24, but if you painted 12, and
or
then
6.
Yeah, or 6. So as you're growing your Battle Company, in the background, your Lord of the Rings army is growing as well. Yeah. And before you know it, you've got quite a sizable force.
Yeah. Yeah.
And absolutely. The lovely thing about Lord of the Rings miniatures is
because they're smaller,
they seem to reward you for a basic scheme even more so in some ways.
Yeah.
I think. So yeah, that's good. And we've got some new models that have been shown off, haven't we?
Well, let's go back to Elfhelm.
Yeah.
So at the moment we're still expanding the characters for Pelennor Fields, effectively, and the Gondor at War book. So Elfhelm is a Rohan character, and he's been done as all of them seem to be coming out now and foot and mounted, which is really cool. He's foot and mounted, got that classy Rohan armour. Hasn't got a helmet that I've seen, which I always think one of the most distinctive parts of a Rohirrim is his helmet, but I really like the model. Saw it today in person, liked it even more. When I get myself round to doing my Rohirrim, he's on the list.
Absolutely.
It doesn't say what his rules are here, though, so I might have to look that up in the Gondor at War book, see if that's in there, but no, it doesn't say about its rules. So, yeah, what I really like about the Rohirrim models is that they're always either fully on heroic, so standing like on the ridge, looking out over the plains, or they're full pelt on a horse, about to stab something in the face. So it's a cracking model. And then we have...
So we have Elfhelm. No, Elfhelm's you just said, isn't it? Dernhelm. Dernhelm is Éowyn. In her disguise. So, she has been seen before, but got some better pictures. The horses are just incredible, aren't they? We saw, when we were in Warhammer World, Nick Baton's Rohan army was in the cabinet, and just amazing.
But it's really not aged.
No, it's incredible, actually, really.
Those horses were so revolutionary when they came out that it's brilliant.
Yeah, and they've just built on that, really, with this. So, again, foot and mounted for both of them. I suspect that you've got the same thing with Merry
and Gandalf,
Yeah, so you can take one or the other off.
So with that model, for people who don't know, you can have, on the mounted version, you can have Gandalf and Merry on the horse, but there's the option within the model, and you don't have to stick Merry on, so you can take Merry off, so you can just have Gandalf on his horse, which is a really cool thing. And
That's amazing, isn't it?
They've done the same with Eowyn and Pippin.
And they don't show the unhelmeted heads, but
Merry, I've got it wrong. Pippin's on Gandalf, Merry's on Eowyn.
Yeah.
Both the same. Little hobbit men.
Goodness me. But you can have a helmeted head and an unhelmeted head for Eowyn. Not both at the same time, because she didn't have two heads.
Yeah. There's only one part of the battle where she whips her helmet off, and that's to
stab the Witch
shove
King.
it up the Witch King.
There you go. You could change, make it so the heads are changeable and do it at just the right moment.
Yes. Yeah.
And then there's a pointy spear serpent man. Oh no, he's called Raza. Fang of the Serpent. The personal bodyguard of Suladan.
I see. These names must be coming from characters in the book, but I don't remember them at all. So what's really cool for me is I want to go back and read it again to get these people out and see who they were.
Yeah.
I like the next one. Looks like a proper swashbuckling
yes, a character for Corsairs.
Yeah.
Really nice, that, isn't it? That whip is very well done.
Yeah.
The interesting thing there is he gives an ability to allow friendly Corsair warrior models to re-roll a d6 in the dice roll. But if they then still lose, he whips them and they take a strength 2 hit. Which is ace.
That's quite a cool little dynamic.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? It's nice seeing these different rules.
Yeah.
Coming up. I imagine we'll get some... It'd be nice to see some dice for the factions that we haven't had dice for. So there are Rohan dice. There are 3 Hunters dice. There are...
I shouldn't imagine the
Lord
3 Hunters
dice.
dice will stay around for too long.
No,
Because
but...
the Gondor and the Orc ones, or the good and the bad ones from when it came out with Pelennor, I didn't see them today.
Oh. Well, I've got the ones I want, so... That's I'm all for the community. I got my stuff. So, but it would be nice to see them come out for the Corsairs and for the Serpent.
Yeah,
The thing I love about... Sorry, I'm going to cut you off because...
that never happens.
I think what I've got to say is more interesting. What I love about the dice for Lord of the Rings is you do really just need one pot.
Yeah.
Like when you buy your Blood Bowl dice.
Yeah.
And your Necromunda dice. I don't mind buying those dice. Well, I don't really mind buying dice anyway. Or indeed anything from Games Workshop. But anyway, I don't mind buying these dice because you're only buying one set.
Yeah.
Which is ace.
Yeah.
So you feel like you can have all the cool bits.
Yeah. 20 isn't quite enough, is it, when you think about...
Oh, not for 40k.
You
No.
need at least 40, really.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I
And
don't
even then, that's
really like the bigger size of the dice for when you've got to roll loads of them.
Yeah.
I like the slightly smaller D6.
Yeah.
That Games Workshop do. But it's fine when you're only rolling
5 or 6, yeah.
at most, really, aren't you? It's very rare you roll more than that.
I can't think of one unless you're using a Mummakill. Yeah.
So yeah, some exciting stuff. I think we're going to need to make some kind of Lord of the Rings pledge. Not now, but for the next one. Yeah, just because we talk about it, which is ace, but we haven't actively done any Lord of the Rings hobby for quite a while now.
I put together so many things.
Yeah.
That I got burnt out of it.
Yeah.
Like literally like almost 100 goblins. So.
Do you know what I'm going to do? By the next time we talk about Lord of the Rings, so that's 4.5 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to paint a Lord of the Rings model.
Alright.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to do that. I don't know what. Might do the troll.
Okay, I will make a similar pledge.
Yeah.
I'll paint a goblin.
You're going to paint a goblin? Okay, and I'm going to paint a troll. Right, okay.
No, but I think that's a good idea. It's a good idea. Cool. Jinx. What I am excited about with these Umbars and the Corsairs and the Serpent Warriors is that before those armies were quite niche. Same with the Easterlings. Not a great many options. Had your plastic box set and a handful of other things. Now that you're starting to get these new characters, I think we're going to start to see them being used a lot more as a force, because you're going to have more exciting things that you can do, more interactions between the units, and more options to take. You'll start to see them more. So I think that will only increase the variety of armies that we see kicking around. Because really, when you think about Harad, 9 times out of 10, when I played against them before, it was a mummer kill, a couple of serpent riders, and then a box of plastic Harad warriors. And that was it. So I think it's really cool to see them being expanded.
It is indeed.
So I think that brings episode 41 to a close. Sorry, it's been a bit random. We've been in 2 different locations, various states of consciousness, with a variable.
We've had an additional presenter at random moments, so we'll do our best to have edited out the really random stuff. But thanks for bearing with us, and as ever, thank you so much for the support, because
it means the world to us. It genuinely,
it really does. It means a great deal, and if we bring any, if we can bring a bit of joy, a bit of laughter, then we've done what we wanted to do, really. And those of you that have been unfortunate enough to see us out and about, that have come up and said hello, thank you very, very much, because honestly, we still get a bit like, oh my goodness, they knew who we were. I mean, we can't believe it. So yeah, that is wonderful. Really nice.
And once more, thank you so much to our patrons for helping to make this all a little bit easier. It means the world to us. Thank you very much. So you can find us if you're just listening to a podcast because you downloaded it off of Podbean. We have a social media presence on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram at the 2P's podcast. And we also have a website, 2psinapod.com, where we have a community page and various other gubbins. And we try to put articles up as much as possible, but doing the podcast on our own hobby takes up enough of our free time as it is. But we put painting stuff up on there, and the show notes always get done, don't they, Dan?
I didn't do them for the last one, did I?
No. So we try to get as much detail in the show notes as we can, because we listen to podcasts and we know how much we appreciate when somebody mentions something, that we don't have to scribble it down on a piece of paper or rewind and listen to it again, that we can go to their show notes and check it out. So we will see you for episode 42 in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
Anything exciting happening between now and then? No?
I am. Right now, I can't even remember what the date is.
Neither can I. 17th.
My dad's 60th birthday.
Well,
so that's not really hobby-based.
No, so we'll see you for episode 42. But
bye, guys.
Dan will have a Khorne Codex to talk about.
Oh, that's what's happening. How did I forget that? Goodness me, I'm going to go back and sleep in that bath.
You're going to do the Back to the Future note, or am I allowed to stop it?
Da 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 da.